Have you ever wondered why some people seem to glide through financial emergencies while you're stuck living paycheck to paycheck, even when you're making decent money? Here's the truth nobody tells you. There's an invisible threshold in your bank account that separates the financially anxious from the financially free. And that number isn't $100,000 or $1 million, it's $50,000. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on why this specific milestone changes everything about how money works in your life, and why the wealthiest people in the world obsess over this number in their early years. What you're about to discover will completely shift how you think about saving money. My name is Ronald, and I spend way too much time thinking about financial milestones and what makes people wealthy. If you're someone who feels like you're working hard but not getting ahead, or you've got some savings but you're not sure if it's enough, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Let me paint a picture that probably feels uncomfortably familiar. You open your banking app, see a few $1,000s sitting there, and you feel nothing. No security. No confidence, just a nagging voice in the back of your head reminding you that one bad month could wipe it all out. And you're not alone in feeling this way. According to recent research from Empower, the median emergency savings for Americans in 2026 is just $500. $500! Think about that for a moment. 1 in 3 Americans, 32% of the population, has absolutely nothing saved for emergencies. Zero. And another 37% couldn't cover an unexpected $400 expense without going into debt or missing other bills. Here's what's even more alarming. 73% of Americans are saving less for emergencies now than they were 2 years ago because of inflation, rising interest rates, and stagnant wages. The average person is essentially treading water, working full-time, paying their bills, maybe contributing a little to a 401k, but never building the kind of financial cushion that actually changes their life. And if you've managed to save $10,000 or $20,000, you might think you're doing well, and compared to the statistics I just shared, you are. But here's what most people don't realize. You haven't crossed the threshold yet. You're still in what I call the fragile zone, where money feels like it's constantly slipping through your fingers, and true financial security feels forever out of reach. So why should you care about this specific $50,000 number? Because the consequences of staying below this threshold ripple through every aspect of your life in ways you probably don't even recognize. Let's talk about the psychology first. Multiple studies published in Psychological Science have found that financial stress literally changes how your brain functions. When you're living without adequate savings, your brain is in a constant state of low-level anxiety. You're making decisions from a place of scarcity rather than abundance. That job you hate, you stay because you can't afford to take a risk. That business idea you've been sitting on, it stays an idea because you don't have runway. That toxic relationship, sometimes we stay longer than we should because we're afraid of the financial implications of leaving. Here's where it gets interesting, though. Research from the Federal Reserve shows that people who maintain liquid savings of 3 to 6 months of expenses, which for most Americans working full-time jobs translates to somewhere between $45,000 and $50,000, report significantly lower levels of depression, anxiety, and relationship stress. They sleep better. They perform better at work. They make better long-term decisions because they're not constantly operating in survival mode. But the psychological benefits are just the beginning. The longer you wait to hit this milestone, the more it costs you in real dollars and cents. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say you're 25 years old and you hit $50,000 in savings today. If you invest that money and earn a conservative 8% annual return, which is below the historical average of the S&P 500, that $50,000 becomes $234,000 by the time you're 45. And here's the magic. You didn't have to do anything except leave it alone. But if you wait until you're 35 to hit that same $50,000 milestone, you've lost a decade of compound growth. That same money only grows to $108,000 by age 45. You've essentially cost yourself $126,000 by waiting 10 years. That's not a typo. 6 figures gone simply because you didn't prioritize reaching this threshold earlier. And it's not just about the investment returns, it's about opportunity cost. Think about the last time you had an incredible opportunity, maybe a chance to invest in a friend's business, buy property when the market dipped, take a career break to learn a new skill, or even just quit a soul-crushing job to find something better. If you didn't have that $50,000 cushion, you probably didn't take the opportunity, and someone else who did have the money took it instead. The wealthy understand something that most people miss. $50,000 isn't just savings, it's freedom. It's ammunition. It's the difference between being at the mercy of your circumstances and being able to shape your circumstances. By 2030, economists predict that the gap between people who have adequate emergency savings and those who don't will be the defining factor in determining who moves up economically and who stays stuck. We're entering an era where having $50,000 in liquid savings isn't impressive, it's essential. So how do you actually get there? And once you arrive, how do you use this milestone to fundamentally change your financial trajectory? Let me break it down for you, step by step. All right, let's get into the practical framework for not just reaching $50,000, but understanding why this number acts as a financial phase change in your life. I'm going to walk you through 7 principles that explain the mechanics of this milestone and how to leverage it once you get there. Principle number 1. The critical mass effect. Think of your savings like a snowball rolling downhill. When it's small, every little bump can knock it off course or break it apart completely. But once that snowball reaches a certain size, what physicists call critical mass, it becomes self-sustaining. It powers through obstacles. It gains momentum. $50,000 represents that critical mass for your finances. Here's why. At this level, even modest returns start generating meaningful income. If you park $50,000 in a high-yield savings account, earning 4% annually, which many online banks are offering in 2026, that's $2,000 a year in interest without lifting a finger. That's $166 a month. For some people, that covers their car payment. For others, it's their grocery budget. But here's the real magic. Once you have this foundation, you can take calculated risks with additional income because your baseline is protected. You can invest more aggressively with your next $10,000 because losing it won't devastate you. This is how wealthy people think. They build the fortress first, then they go on the attack. Principle number 2, the opportunity capture window. I need you to understand something about how money actually grows in the real world. It's not the steady 8% annual return you read about in textbooks. Wealth is built in moments, brief windows where opportunity and preparation collide. Maybe it's 2008 and the housing market collapses. People with $50,000 in savings were buying rental properties for pennies on the dollar. Those properties are now worth triple what they paid. Or maybe it's 2020 and the stock market crashes 30% in 3 weeks. People with liquid capital could buy blue-chip stocks at a massive discount and rode them back up as the market recovered. Or maybe it's right now. Your company offers an early retirement buyout, and you could take the package and start that business you've been dreaming about, but only if you have a cushion to live on while you build. The difference between people who build significant wealth and those who stay middle class often comes down to this. When opportunity knocks, do you have $50,000 to answer the door? According to data from financial planning firm Empower, only 11% of Americans have saved between $50,000 and $100,000. That means 89% of people are automatically disqualified from most wealth-building opportunities simply because they don't have the capital ready to deploy. Principle number 3, the stress-to-strategy shift. This is the psychological inflection point I mentioned earlier, and it's more important than most people realize. Below $50,000, your relationship with money is defensive. You're playing not to lose. Every financial decision is colored by anxiety. What if my car breaks down? What if I lose my job? What if? But something fascinating happens when you cross $50,000. Your brain shifts from scarcity thinking to abundance thinking. Instead of asking, can I afford this, you start asking, is this the best use of my money? It sounds like a subtle distinction, but it's enormous. One question keeps you stuck. The other question builds wealth. Research from USC Dornsive found that financial security in early adulthood, specifically having liquid savings above $40,000, correlates with lower anxiety and greater life satisfaction, even decades later. It literally rewires you on how you approach risk, relationships, and opportunities. You start thinking strategically instead of reactively. You plan in years instead of months. You become a different kind of financial decision maker. Principle number 4, the enough threshold. Here's something that might surprise you. $50,000 is roughly the amount that covers 6 months of expenses for the average American household. In 2026, the median household spending is $70,000 a year, which means $35,000 covers 6 months. But when you factor in the desire to maintain some cushion beyond just survival expenses, money for opportunities, investments, or unexpected windfalls, $50,000 becomes the sweet spot. What's critical here is that 6 months of expenses is the gold standard that financial experts have been recommending for decades. And there's a reason for that. Studies show that 6 months is enough time to find a new job if you lose yours, recover from a medical emergency, weather a business setback, or navigate a major life transition without going into debt. Think of it like this. Below $50,000, you're living in a financial studio apartment, cramped, uncomfortable, everything overlapping. But at $50,000, you've moved into a proper 2-bedroom. You have space to breathe, space to think, space to grow. You're not wealthy, but you're secure, and security is the foundation upon which all wealth is built. Principle number 5, the compounding acceleration curve. Let me show you something that will blow your mind about compound interest. The first $50,000 you save is actually harder to accumulate than the second $50,000. I know that sounds backward, but here's why it's true. Scenario A. You save $500 per month with no existing savings. It takes you 100 months over 8 years to reach $50,000, assuming minimal interest. Scenario B, you already have $50,000 saved and invested at 8% annual returns. You continue saving $500 per month. How long does it take to reach $100,000? Just 67 months, less than 6 years. You saved the second $50,000 in 33 months less time, even though you were putting aside the exact same monthly amount. Why? Because the first $50,000 is now working for you. At 8%, it's generating $4,000 per year, which is $333 per month. Combined with your $500 monthly contribution, you're effectively saving $833 per month in Scenario B, and you're not doing any extra work. This is why wealthy people talk about making their money work for them. They're not speaking metaphorically. They literally mean that past savings generate current income, which accelerates future savings. But you need to reach critical mass first, and for most people, that's $50,000. Principle number 6, the negotiation leverage multiplier. Here's something nobody tells you about money. Having savings makes you more money in ways that have nothing to do with investment returns. When you have $50,000 in the bank, you negotiate differently. You walk into a salary discussion knowing you could walk away if the offer isn't right. Studies show that people who aren't financially desperate negotiate 15 to 20% higher salaries on average than those who need the job immediately. Over a career, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional earnings, all because you had a cushion that gave you confidence. Same thing with purchasing decisions. You can wait for the right deal on a car instead of paying full price because you need transportation today. You can shop around for better insurance rates instead of automatically renewing. You can invest in bulk purchases that save money long term instead of buying day to day. Financial flexibility is a form of leverage, and leverage always amplifies returns. Principle number 7. The identity transformation. This is the most underrated aspect of reaching $50,000, and it's the one that creates lasting change. When you hit this milestone, you stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles with money. You become someone who has money. And that identity shift changes everything. Identity is incredibly powerful. If you identify as someone who's bad with money, you'll unconsciously make decisions that reinforce that identity. But when you look at your account and see $50,000, your brain updates its self-concept. You're now someone who saves, someone who builds wealth, someone who makes smart financial decisions. And once your identity shifts, your behavior follows automatically. Think about people you know who are wealthy. They don't agonize over daily spending the way people living paycheck to paycheck do. It's not because they're careless, it's because they've internalized a different identity. They know they're good with money, so they make good decisions without constant effort. Reaching $50,000 is where that identity begins to crystallize for most people. Now, here's the question you're probably asking. How do I actually get to $50,000? The honest answer is less sexy than you want it to be. It's not about finding some secret investment or starting a side hustle that makes $10,000 a month. For most people, it's about consistent, disciplined saving over time, combined with ruthless prioritization. That means automating $500 to $1,000 per month into a savings account before you see it. It means cutting expenses that don't bring you joy or move you toward your goals. It means saying no to lifestyle inflation when you get a raise. It means treating your savings goal like a bill you cannot skip. But here's what makes it bearable. Every dollar you save brings you closer to that critical mass threshold where everything changes, where money starts working for you instead of you working for money, where opportunities appear because you have the capital to seize them, where stress decreases because you have options. That's what $50,000 represents. Not wealth, not luxury, but freedom. And freedom is priceless. All right, let's bring this home. If you take nothing else away from this video, remember these key points. First, $50,000 represents critical mass in your financial life. It's the point where your money begins generating meaningful returns, where compound interest shifts from theoretical to real, and where your savings start working as hard as you do. Second, this milestone isn't just about the number in your account. It's about the psychological shift from scarcity thinking to strategic thinking, from defensive money management to offensive wealth building. Third, the opportunity cost of not reaching this threshold is enormous. Every year you delay costs you tens of thousands of dollars in lost compound growth and missed opportunities. Fourth, once you hit $50,000, the next $50,000 comes faster because math is on your side. The acceleration curve is real, and it rewards people who reach critical mass first. And fifth, this isn't about deprivation or living miserably to save money. It's about intentionality. It's about recognizing that short-term sacrifices create long-term freedom. Now you understand why everything changes after $50,000 in savings. You've seen the data, you understand the psychology, you know the mechanics. Armed with this knowledge, you can make different decisions starting today. If this helped you see savings differently, if you're looking at that $50,000 milestone with fresh eyes, hit that like button so more people can discover this video. And if you're serious about building wealth, subscribe to this channel because I'm breaking down the financial principles that actually matter every single week. And if you want to learn about what to do after you hit $50,000, how to invest it, where to allocate it, and how to turn that foundation into real wealth, check out my video on the 5 investment mistakes that keep you poor, where I break down exactly how to make your money work for you once you've built your foundation. Remember, building wealth isn't about luck. It's not about timing the market or finding the perfect investment. It's about understanding these fundamental principles and applying them consistently over time. You don't need a 6-figure income to hit $50,000 in savings. You need a plan, discipline, and the willingness to prioritize future freedom over present comfort. The path to $50,000 might take you 3 years or 5 years or even 8 years, depending on your income and expenses. But I promise you this, the version of you who has $50,000 in savings will look back at today and thank you for starting. So start today, right now. Your future self is counting on you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.